Hey, this is Mary from Camaj Fiber Arts, and day 2 on Tour de Fleece, we are going to spin bulky. This is the Polworth yellow Erie silk that I'm going to spin bulky, and the staple length is it's about that long. So this will actually spin pretty bulky. It's a little bit slippery, so let me show you how to do it. Okay, just like we did with the thin, we need to strip that really wide comb top. This is, well, it's about that wide. So when I spin thick, I still want to draft it. Some people are trying to do it without drafting it because they can't seem to draft it. So here I have a piece on here, and I'm going to spin it without drafting it. And let's see what happens. So when I do this, can you see the edges are a little bit, you can just see the edges on it. It's weird. It's almost like spinning a square. It doesn't seem to look very nice. And then when I do apply, it just sort of puffs up. I mean, that's a cool bulky, but I'm not sure that's going to be a yarn that will sustain abrasion and fall apart. So let's first talk about the area that your fiber is being pulled from. So this area right here is called your drafting triangle because you're pulling fiber out of that drafting triangle to make the yarn. I know this sounds silly, but the less fiber you pull out, it'll be thin yarn, and the more you pull out, it will be thick. And some people say to get further into your drafting supply, but let's take a look and see what I can do. So let me do really thin first. So I'm sort of near the outside edge of my triangle. Now, if I come in a little bit further and pull out more, I'm going to spin a thicker yarn. If I get even more, it's going to be even more bulky. Let's take a look at that ply back. And that's a really pretty bulky yarn. So just think about when you're spinning to take more or less out of that triangle. So let's spin thin. You're taking less out of your drafting triangle, and then I'm going to get thicker and thicker. Let's get as thick as we can. Let's go back to thin again. So practice that. Practice going thin, thick. There's the thin. There's the thick. There's the thin again. So practice going from thin to thick if you really want to sort of get the feel of it. Let's get thin again. Again, getting deep into that drafting triangle. All right, so that is how you spin a bulky yarn.